Great. Okay, yes. Thanks for joining, everybody. My name is Elaine Chang. I'm the COO at TaroWorks, and I'm super excited for today's webinar. So as I'm sure you all know, it was International Women's Day this past Monday. Here at TaroWorks, we're making it kind of a whole month of celebrating the work of women and celebrating our clients who are making an impact on women every day. So our parent company, Grameen Foundation, was born out of a vision to enable the poor, especially women, to create a world without poverty and hunger. And that DNA runs through our work at TaroWorks as well. Many of our clients use TaroWorks to empower frontline agents working at the last mile to be able to deliver various services or products to impact women, even if they're in areas with little to no connectivity. Ultimately, at TaroWorks, we want our clients and actually all of the various roles within our clients' organizations to be able to access information in real time so that they can do their job successfully, and so communities are getting the best services and products when they need it. So that's what brings me to today's webinar with Village Enterprise. They are a great example of a women-focused and data-driven nonprofit who's empowering their field agents, the mentors, and management with real-time data. So each of them can all do their jobs and ultimately create better relationships with the women that they work with. So for today's conversation, I'm really excited to be talking to Zita Aquero to find out more about how they're doing this, what impacts they've seen, and their model overall. So Zita is the regional director at, go to the next slide. Zita is a regional director at Village Enterprise, managing their work in northern Uganda. And she has a great story herself about her journey. So I'll let her share that after I go over some housekeeping rules. So in terms of housekeeping rules, this session is being recorded, and you can find this recording as well as previous webinars on our TaroWorks YouTube channel. Another note is that everybody will be on mute by default. If you have any questions, please enter it into the Q&A box in the GoToWebinar panel, and I'll address them at the end. And I think that's it for the housekeeping rules. So let's start our conversation. So Zita, welcome. Are you there?
Yes, thank you.
Great. So Zita, you have a very inspiring personal story. So before we get into Village Enterprise's work, can you share with the audience what your role is now, the journey of how you got there, and why you're passionate about impacting women with data and technology?
Okay, thank you so much, Elena, for this opportunity. So my name is Zita Aquero, and I am a mother to one beautiful daughter, and I work with Village Enterprise as the regional manager, and I'm based in northern Uganda, Gulu office. I've worked with Village Enterprise for 7 years in different roles, and I joined Village Enterprise in 2014 as a business mentor, and where I would identify the eligible program participants using the open data kit, and also sometimes we would use paper and pencil. So after the identification of our participants, I would form the savings groups, train the participants, guide the participants on how to select sustainable and profitable businesses for the grant funding, and also mentored those businesses for growth and sustainability. So in 2016, I was promoted to a field associate level, where I managed business mentors activities. And in 2019, I got another promotion to become the regional manager. And currently, I oversee our program implementation in northern Uganda and midwestern Uganda. So I am supervising 5 field associates and also working with 33 business mentors spread across north and midwestern Uganda. Village Enterprise, as you know, has a lot to do with who I am right now, because Village Enterprise has empowered me to use different digital tools. For example, the ROIC, we are using this, for managing the different projects that we have. Box, we have the Salesforce, we have TaroWorks, we have adaptive management dashboards, and others. So this has really been so instrumental as far as my role as a regional manager is concerned. And also, when you look at technology in this present economy, it is power. Right now, you cannot work anywhere unless you are compatible with technology. And for instance, I sit in the office, and yet I am supposed to make decisions. So I can only make informed decisions if I've reviewed the data on the dashboards. And you may be wondering, why is it speaking about women? I am a woman myself, and I know the struggles, that women go through. And because I am a woman, this gives me, the urge to work more with women, to identify with them, and also to encourage them that even if, there are struggles, there are hardships out there, it is not the end of the road. Together we can work, and make it a better place. Together we can brainstorm, we can bring in different ideas, we can, interact with one another. So through that way, we keep empowering them. And also when it comes to technology, we do the same thing. We tell them that it's not about men. As women, we can also do this. So this has really been my story for the 7 years that I've been within Village Enterprise. Thank you.
Great. I'm sure you're such a role model for those that you work with as well. Great. I'd like to turn to kind of what Village Enterprise does. So let's start there. Can you tell us what Village Enterprise's vision and mission are, and how they serve women, or how serving women achieves that mission?
Okay, thank you. So Village Enterprise is an international non-profit making organization that has its mission to end extreme poverty in rural Africa through entrepreneurship and innovation. And as an organization, we are addressing the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal 1, which is end poverty in all its forms everywhere. And also we have our vision. We are looking at a world free of extreme poverty, where people have economic means to sustain their families. And we are working more with women in rural Africa. And because personally, I also believe, that when you empower a woman, you transform a nation. So this is why, as Village Enterprise, learning from our past experience, learning from the work that the community engagements that we've had, it's really, really, vital to engage women, to empower women as compared, to men.
Okay, great. And can you tell us what the poverty graduation model means to the Village Enterprise and how that works?
Okay, well, just like I'd said, Village Enterprise is passionate about ending extreme poverty, and we are using the poverty graduation approach that focuses on reaching the extreme poor and also helping them start micro enterprises that allow for increases in incomes, savings, assets, consumptions and expenditure. And in our graduation approach, we identify eligible program participants through our rigorous targeting process. And then we provide business training and mentoring. We form savings groups and also give them a seed capital, a seed capital grant to support the business start. And ultimately, what we are looking at is improving the participants' standards of living through increasing their confidence, growing their social networks, and also generating income. So that is what graduation approach is all about.
It certainly seems like there's a lot of different resources, different roles that all need to coordinate in order to make this approach work. I can imagine that it can be a challenge to coordinate all of this to make sure that the entrepreneurs are succeeding at the end of the day. Can you tell us what digital tools you're using now to manage all of that and why?
Okay, actually, this is a very interesting, question. And also just to provide a brief history on our digital transition. Okay, currently we are using Salesforce and TaroWorks because our Salesforce is integrated with TaroWorks. But prior to the adaptation of Salesforce and TaroWorks platforms, Village Enterprise was managing entrepreneurs' progress by hand with the use of ODK, Open Data Kit, that is ODK. But back then, ODK had several consequences. For instance, sometimes if we run into an issue, it would really take pretty long before it's resolved. So it would prompt us into collecting data using paper and then pencil, just to to catch up, not to be behind schedule. And also, ODK did not have dedicated support staff. So if a client, have any issue, it would take weeks before it's resolved. So all this would lead to delay in sharing of data in real time. It would lead to delays in making decisions. And also, it would call for a lot of manual coding, where you go to the field, you collect data, then again, you have to come and sit in office to manually enter the information that, the data that you've gathered from the field in the laptop. So this was really time consuming. And but when we found out about TaroWorks and Salesforce integration, really we saw that as a very powerful tool for our digital data collection. And our rationale for digital transition was actually based on three factors. We were looking at the volume of the data that we were collecting, the accuracy of that data, and also the speed of sharing the data and information. And again, just like I'd said before, we were really excited with TaroWorks because TaroWorks have a dedicated support team, and wherever you run into any issue, it is resolved with immediate effect. And also, TaroWorks actually came with the poverty probability index libraries. And as Village Enterprise, we use this as a tool in our targeting process. So it was a quick win that served us a lot from the manual data coding. Apart from that, TaroWorks also has its rich media, where as an organization, we are interested in the GPS location. We are interested in the photos of our entrepreneurs, in capturing the photos of our entrepreneurs, capturing the signatures of our entrepreneurs and also our staff. And also TaroWorks has, the timestamp. So all this really was very exciting, and it gave us, it propelled us to work with TaroWorks more, and also not only that, it has a robust analytical features where the real-time reports, can be shared through adaptive management dashboards. And apart from just the TaroWorks and the Salesforce, Village Enterprise also has other digital tools that we are using. So we have Rike that we use for monitoring our different projects. We have Box that we use for storing vital documents, reports, business mentor manual, and other relevant documents within the organization. And we also have our human resource management information system that have different dashboards ranging from timesheet, leave, employee data, and so on. So really, like, as an organization, we are very passionate about technology.
Great, and it sounds like you're using quite a suite and all together too, which is really powerful. I want to ask about impacts on specific roles a little bit further in the discussion, but before we get into that, can you share overall how Village Enterprise has benefited from using Salesforce and TaroWorks and maybe the other technology platforms as well?
Okay. First of all, as an organization, we collect data on a daily basis through our M&E and then the programs team. So, and with this, comes a lot of data on a daily basis, which poses challenges around data entry, data quality, and efficiency in our operation. So, but one thing that we've realized, with TaroWorks and the Salesforce, we are able to push back the data to the field. For example, once the information has been captured, it can be shared back to the field in real time through the dashboards. And we have, like, when it comes to the dashboards, we have several. We have one that's tracks trainings. We have that tracks savings, mentoring information. So, and through the TaroWorks, we also have the autofill responses that eliminate more errors that come in when data is being manually captured. So, just like I said, that one of the rationale why we were excited about TaroWorks was to improve our accuracy. So with this, we've really improved greatly as an organization, and also TaroWorks has helped us to reduce the time that we used to waste with paperwork, and also our M&E system overall has become very efficient.
That's great. I love hearing that. Okay, that sounds great as overall impacts for Village Enterprise as a whole. I think what I'd like to delve into now is the role of using this data and technology on specific roles, especially the women. So where I want to start is talking about women business mentors. So you mentioned that business mentors play a big role in the overall poverty graduation approach, and this is where you also got your start at Village Enterprise. I'd love to hear from you. Can you explain more about what business mentors do and why they're important for this approach?
Okay, thank you so much. So our business mentors are actually the engine to our program implementation and success. Why have I said this? They help us in identifying the entrepreneurs that we work with through our targeting process, and they also mobilize this the qualified households or the qualified entrepreneurs to form a business savings group through which they train them on group dynamics, financial literacy, micro enterprise development, and also these qualified households are actually subdivided into a group of 3 entrepreneurs that receive the grant, and then the own mentoring support from our business mentors to ensure that at the end of it all, there is sustainability and profitability in all the enterprises that they would have, started. And also, really, our female business mentors are really very important. And again, when you look at village enterprise statistics, we work majorly with women. And to me, it's a fellow a female business mentor can actually appreciate the challenges and the pain that a fellow woman, out there in the community go through. So you find that our female business mentors are actually a great source of inspiration to our entrepreneurs. When it comes to technology, the moment they see our our female business mentors using technology, using the tablets in the field, they get inspired. Yeah, they also want to become just like these business mentors, these female business mentors. They look at these female business mentors as their role model, and with this, we've really seen changes in their mindset. you know it's quite different in Africa, especially especially in the rural settings. Okay, like most of the rural women believe that technology, anything complex, are meant actually for men. It is not. It should not be a woman-related thing, because women are supposed to have the soft landing, soft ending, and all that. But this perception has drastically changed, because they have been challenged by our female business mentors. They see them use this technology, so they're also getting the exposure, and they're realizing that whatever perception that they had was really wrong. A woman can also work with technology. A woman can speak from the data point and all that. So we've really, so to me, they have been this great source of inspiration to our female business mentors. And also, when it gets to their work, they provide a very conducive environment for these female entrepreneurs, where they interact freely with that improved self-perception, and also they create that sense of empowerment. So it's very easy for a woman to interact with another woman, and we've seen this where most of our entrepreneurs, apart from just talking about the businesses, the enterprises that have been funded or started, or talking about the savings groups that they're involved in, they also go that extra mile of sharing with our business mentors the challenges that they're going through, the domestic challenges that they're going through in their homes. So through this way, like, our business mentors always offer that counsel to them. And also, by doing this, we've been able, to also keep them in our program.
That's fantastic, super inspiring, and makes a lot of sense. So these mentors also rely on technology and data pretty heavily. Um, I'd like to hear from you. How do they benefit personally from using technology and data?
Okay, so let's begin with the current trends of what is happening, worldwide. Like currently, most of the organizations advertise for jobs online. And in case you are interested, you must also apply online. So technology is something that we can never run away from. So long as you want to remain relevant in the job market, you need to get that exposure. You need to accept that, yes, it is something that you can live with. It is something that you can adapt to. It is something that you can get better and better at the end of every day. So within Village Enterprise, we've been doing this a lot. Like of late, most of the jobs are posted online, and be it that you want to join Village Enterprise as a business mentor or a field associate, whichever level, you are supposed to apply online. Then also technological proficiency provides opportunities for our business mentors, the female business mentors, to be competitive in the job market. You cannot work anywhere if really you're technology illiterate. You can't, unless maybe if you're looking at really those casual work that does not call for any kind of maybe digital, either a digital work, or but so long as you want to go digital, then it is something that, yes, technology is something that you must appreciate, to remain competitive in the job market. And then also the other thing is just to think about it logically, with the current trends, in the job market. Who would want to hire someone who is technology illiterate? So because of the changing trends, people look out for those that would add value within their organization, value to what they do, not people who would come within the organization to become liabilities. So this is really something that is changing, and we must walk by the change.
Yeah, I think we certainly see that a lot in all the organizations that we work with as well. Let's go into how the business mentors are actually using the technology then and their day-to-days. What kinds of data are they reviewing, and how is it helping them do their job?
Okay, well, so for our business mentors, they really have access to the dashboards, the monitoring dashboards. So, but before this, I always provide them with guidance, especially on how to access, interpret, and also utilize the information that is in the dashboard. Because it's one thing to have technology in place, and also it's another thing for people to appreciate what you're using. So one thing that I've really done well is to build their capacity around using the dashboards. So currently, all our field staff, have access to dashboards, and they can use and utilize any information that is pushed, to the dashboards. And we have different types of dashboards. For example, we have the poverty probability index, that dashboard that always shows or measures the level of discrepancies. Every time they collect data on households, we track. Yeah, so at the end of collecting data from these households, from our entrepreneurs, they are able to review. Yeah, and then they are able to identify the areas that they are supposed to be improving on. And also we have dashboard on business health. As an organization, we are helping entrepreneurs start businesses. So, and So one thing that we are doing is we always monitor the progress of these businesses. And through this, we have different indicators and different ratings that we give to different businesses. For example, if a business has been rated red, a business mentor will be in position to tell the story behind the red rating. Why was this business rated red? And through that way, this business mentor will move to the field with that informed point, and then we'll go and share with the entrepreneurs, and this will trickle in, improvements in the areas where they are not doing well. Then we also track training attendance. We have a dashboard that speaks to this. At the end of every training, they are able to review who has missed, and also this always enables them, to follow up on those program participants who have missed a training. Because as an organization, one of our rules is that you cannot miss more than 2 trainings. Because if you miss more than 2 trainings, then you are dropped out of our program. So long as you don't have any valid reason as to why you missed those trainings, we drop you. So this has really helped them, in following up on such entrepreneurs who skip trainings. We have another dashboard on savings that measures the performance across. So when you're in northern Uganda, you're able to review what is happening in eastern Uganda. You're able to review what is happening in Kenya. So it has really, provided, that avenue where our field staff are able to review what is happening across the organization. And also another dashboard that we have is it's on Stallings observation. So throughout our training, we always send observers to go to the field to check how our business mentors are delivering the trainings to our entrepreneurs, and we measure this. So again, at the end of every training, still they are able to see whether they have scored the set index or not. So through this way, they have really been able, to improve and to perform better when it comes to their roles as business mentors.
That's interesting, that last one, Stallings observations, where the first dashboards you mentioned really seem like data that the mentor uses to inform the entrepreneurs. That Stallings observation is almost like metrics to help improve the mentor's performance. I'd be curious to hear, are there other types of ways that mentors use the data to improve their own performance and be more successful at their job?
Okay, okay, thank you so much. Exactly, like when it comes to Stallings observation, yes, speaks to their performance. Once they have reviewed, they are able to see, where they did not do well, and this helps them, to train better maybe in the next session. And so when it comes to, improving their own performance, again, like I'd shared that all our field staff have access to the different dashboards. And because of this, we've seen increase in visibility and then transparency in our operation. You cannot lie about anything, because once it comes to data, you can't you can't lie, because at the end of it all, it will all be displayed. Once you're done with that data collection and you've synced it into the Salesforce, it will really be reflected on the dashboards. So we've seen that, yes, they are becoming more transparent, and also they are able, like at the end of it all, we are giving them real, we are providing to them real-time reports. So they always review these reports and also improve. And also just the mere fact of looking at what you've just done, gives you that morale to even work harder to press on, even if like maybe you are having challenges. Yes, you'll tap yourself at the back and you say, yes, I think I need to improve. I think I need to pull up my socks and all that. And then also the dashboards have metrics which allow our business mentors to look at detailed indicators and also improve their performances. For example, I talked about the Stallings observation that have metrics that measure the hours that are spent on the learning activities, and then the off-task activities. So once a business mentor has reviewed like such information, such data, they are able to tell whether they were really on point when they were training or they were off. And also they review the training attendance, because one of the things that we track the average attendance, and we always look at 98% of our program participants, attending all trainings. So at the end of every training, a business mentor is able to review the training attendance, and they will also be able to flag in those that have missed training. And why is this important in their role? As we work, like in Village Enterprise, we work with different cycles. So in every cycle, we give each business mentor a business target. For example, if you are supposed to start 20 businesses, maybe in this cycle, and then you have entrepreneurs who have been constantly skipping trainings, that is going to affect the number of businesses that you will start. And again, in turn, it will speak to your performance, because while others are starting all the required numbers, for you find that if you're this kind of person that is not always keen on reviewing the data, reviewing the dashboard, you may miss out on some of these points. So through this way, they have been able to improve on their performance.
This is great. Yeah, it sounds like the way that the mentors are interacting with data and technology, there's personal benefits, there's they're using it for their day-to-day and working with the entrepreneurs, and also using that data to improve their own work. This is great. I think what I'd like to do now is turn to how the data is being used, maybe more indirectly, but how it's being used to impact the women entrepreneurs in the business groups. So kind of bringing us back to Village Enterprise's mission, which is to end extreme poverty by giving people economic means to sustain their families. Can you tell us the importance of targeting women for poverty graduation, and how many of your entrepreneurs are women?
Okay, thank you so much, Elena. So, as an organization, we believe that when you empower a woman, you actually transform a nation. And I'm talking about this because, speaking from experience on what has been happening in the field, we've started several groups that have combination of women and men, and we've also started groups that are purely women. And throughout these years, we've been learning from these groups. Okay, now when you rate the performance of groups that purely have women, you find that when it comes to savings, they're performing very well. When it comes to businesses, they put their hearts to that business. They give it their very best. And also, the proceeds, that they're realizing from the businesses, the proceeds that they realize from their savings after they share out, trickle down to their households. You begin to see, them increase. Okay, you begin to see them purchase household assets, and children going to school, children accessing all their fundamental needs and all that. So that's why I say, like, when you empower a woman, you actually transform a nation. And a woman is this person, that is selfless. They always put others before their own needs. And so the moment you empower them, they will work hard to ensure that their families have all the fundamental needs as compared, to men. And also in rural Africa, the burdens of actually running a home are left to women. It is their responsibility to ensure that there is food on the table, their children are in school, their children are clothed, their children are treated, and so on. So just imagine when you empower like such a person. Trust me, you will not be making any loss, but rather you'll be making a huge difference within the shortest time. So that is why, as Village Enterprise, we are really very passionate about working with women. And also women are actually activists to development. They're always very proactive. So long as they identify with any project that you've enrolled them on, so long as they have a better understanding on why they're actually in the program, you will always see a great transformation happening within the village, happening within the communities. And through this way, personally, I've really felt that throughout like the 7 years that I've been with Village Enterprise, I've seen that it is easier to work with women. It is easier, to cause impact when you're working more with women. And also, it's not, it's not that I'm over praising a woman, but also throughout this, like I've gathered experience, and I've really been seeing so many things. Like you can give a woman a meager resource, and this woman will work, will put the heart, will be very committed, will wake up day in, day out, early in the morning to attend to this little resource or to this business that has been started. And with the time, you see that the business is growing, the business is diversifying, there is value add to the business. We've worked with 141,000 women, and we still hope, to work with more.
That's really inspiring. I'm sure you've seen such great stories over the 7 years as well, great data points. Okay, so I'd like to talk about sort of the life cycle of how you work with these women entrepreneurs over time. So starting at the beginning, when you bring entrepreneurs into the program, how do you make sure that you're bringing on the right entrepreneurs into the program using data?
Actually, it is the PPI libraries that came with TaroWorks that help us in making sure that we are working with the right entrepreneurs. So we use the Poverty Probability Index as our targeting tool. So during this process, we actually move from household to household. So at the end of it all, this tool will tell us who to work with and who not to work with. So so this is how we've been able to bring the right women into our program. And I must say it has really been so timely, and it has also helped us, to keep them in the program.
Great. That sort of brings me to my next question then. So let's say that you bring on the right entrepreneurs into the program. And as you've mentioned before, the women are oftentimes also looking after the household. And so there are lots of challenges that they face as women. How do the mentors use data to help these women entrepreneurs despite these challenges?
Okay, so I'm going to begin with this story around tracking the training attendance. So we have the digital training attendance, where at the end of every training session, our entrepreneurs always sign for attending the training. So one thing that we've seen is that every time when they sign into TaroWorks, they think that TaroWorks monitors them, which makes them actually to religiously come for all the trainings. You know, they have this mindset that, yeah, since they have signed into a system, this system is going to stress their location. This system will watch what they're doing in their households. So they always, if there is no any valid reason why they must not come for the training or why they must not come for savings, they will not remain home. They will always show up for the training. So and we've actually ran a historical data, and we've realized that we were able to retain around 1,114 women in our program. And why? Because the tracking of the attendance, our business mentors always review this data, and once they have noticed that maybe there are some individuals who have missed like a training, they always flag in these people to let them know that, yes, so far you've already missed a training, so it would be important for you not to miss another training. Otherwise, you would be what? You would be dropped out of the program. And leaving alone that, women are always overwhelmed with household chores on top of everything else. And because of this challenge, they tend to be very forgettable. Like, you tell them something right now and then they will forget in the next few minutes. So what our business mentors have been doing, helping them, they always review the data, and then they share this information. For example, like on savings, on business health with our entrepreneurs. And through this way, we've been able to motivate them and also to keep them in the program. And then also our business mentors share the different performance indicators that are on the dashboards with our entrepreneurs. A case in point is when they're reviewing the business health, the business progress. Once they have seen any business rated maybe red, they will always point out the red areas to the entrepreneurs. They will share with them those indicators why, you know, their businesses were rated either red or yellow or green. And this has really helped our business entrepreneurs, most especially the women, to really be very proactive. And they have been appreciating, you know, the kind of data that our female business mentors share with them.
That's great. I think I have a follow-up question around this, but let me ask it at the end. I have just one final question on this part. I guess, so to wrap up, it seems like Village Enterprise really uses technology and data all throughout the organization for the mentors, and then sort of more indirectly working with the entrepreneurs. To summarize, what overall impacts have you seen on the women entrepreneurs from using technology so broadly?
Okay. So because of using technology, we've seen increases in the number of women that are adapting to technology. And what do I mean here? For example, we've back in 2011, 2014, 2015, when we were not yet using the TaroWorks, women were not actually using smartphones. They would, they would just think that it is impossible for them, since they have low level of education. They would just feel that it is something very complex that they could not use. But when they started seeing our business mentors use some of these digital tools, for example, like the tablet, they felt that, yes, it is something that they can actually do. So we've seen increases. And again, this has also propelled us to change our mode of grant, the grant transfer. Like we previously, we were using cash. We would carry cash to the field, and yet there was so many risks that were associated with carrying the physical cash to the field. But because we've seen that they are now using, technology, for example, phones, we've now transitioned to mobile money disbursement. We send money through their phones, and they are able to withdraw this money from wherever locations they would be in. So this has saved us a lot of time, and it has also helped us to improve on our efficiency and our program delivery. Again, like taking you back, when we used to do cash disbursements, it would take us like a period of 2 weeks before we could, round off all our areas of operation. But right now, it takes us only 2 days to disburse grants to entrepreneurs in northern Uganda, midwestern Uganda, eastern Uganda, Kenya. So it has really, 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 improved on our efficiency. And then also, we've seen a great shift in the mindsets of our entrepreneurs, mostly the female entrepreneurs. Again, like I've shared this previously, they would just think that technologies are meant for men, not women. But because they have seen village enterprise female staff use these technologies, they have also started appreciating it, and they have realized that it is actually something that is within their reach.
Zita, I'd like to jump in here with that follow-up question from before. We have a question from Joe Sanson of Trickle Up. So the question is around technical literacy. So for these entrepreneurs who are maybe just getting exposed to technology for the first time, the question is how the entrepreneurs themselves interact with the digital interface. Do they work with it at all directly, or is the mentor always kind of showing it to them? How do they interact with the data?
Okay, thank you so much for that question. So currently, it's our business mentors that actually, show them the data, and then also walk them through what those data are all about. But what we've seen, like they're using the simple digital tools, for example, like phones. Yeah, when they are able to transact using a phone, they can send money through mobile phone, and they can also receive money. So at least we've seen this. And also during the time for, when we were in for the lockdown as a result of COVID-19, we were able to even work still with our entrepreneurs uh, through the phones. Like, we would call them and mentor them through the phones. We would even send information, send messages, and then they would read these messages and even get back to our business mentors. So yes, for now, it's not 100% that they are the one directly, using some of this data, but at least we are beginning to see that adjustment. They're beginning to walk towards the right direction. And I believe that given time, because if they constantly get that exposure, then yes, with time they will be able, to look into this data. So long as it is not very complex, I believe that they will be able to look into the data and also utilize the information that would have been shared.
Great. Excuse me. And another follow-up question is, you mentioned before that you're building capacity with the mentors to really use the dashboards and data. Can you tell us how you built that capacity? How do you prepare these mentors to be able to use data so well?
Okay, thank you so much. So we've always organized for trainings. Like every time if we introduce any digital tool, we always train our field staff on how they are supposed to use that tool. And then also periodically we organize for refresher trainings, because when it comes to technology, it is not a one-day off thing. You need to constantly be following up on the gaps that are there, organizing like one-on-ones, with maybe people who are really, really struggling, and also giving them that motivation, encouraging them that yes, slowly by slowly, you can begin to use this data, you can begin to understand. But the most important step in enabling the business mentors, to use the data is training them. Organize for that. We train them and then we roll it out.
Great. That makes a lot of sense. And then I think this is the last question. There are a couple more that I haven't had a chance to address, but I think they're more specific to TaroWorks, so I'll follow up with those separately. But the last question for you, Zita, is more generally around Village Enterprises operations. Can you tell us where in Uganda Village Enterprise works? So is it in all the districts? Are you in the West Nile, for example?
Okay, thank you so much. So in Uganda, actually we are working in the eastern part of Uganda. We are in Soroti, we are in Katakwi district, we are in Ngora district. Most of the Teso sub-region, Village Enterprise is working over there. And then crossing over to northern Uganda, we have Dokolo district within Lango sub-region. And then in Acholi sub-region, we have Gulu, we have Noya, we have Kitgum, and currently we've extended to Omoro district. And then we've also been in West Nile. So in West Nile, we were working with the refugees, but currently we are not, but we are hoping that soon we will again, start working with those refugees because there's a proposal in the pipeline. So then when it comes to Midwest, Western Uganda, we are in Kiriandongo district, we are in Masindi district, we are in Hoima, and then Chikube district. So those are some of the districts that we work in Uganda.
Great, thanks. I hope that helps you, Richard. Okay, great. I know we're a little bit over, so thanks for those who have stuck around. Again, I'll follow up with some of the other questions that were unanswered. But at this point, I'd love to do a huge thank you to Zita. Thank you so much for sharing these insights and your experience. This is really inspiring.